Hi, I'm Kate from Rodarte, and we're going to do a little kind of, I guess, session together where I show you how I draw. And drawing's a big part of being a fashion designer, and I've always kind of talked about how it's important to find your own style and something that's reflective of, I think, the tone of who you are as a designer. And so my sketching's always been kind of very linear. It's more line based, but it's definitely, anyone that I work with knows the hand of my drawings, and essentially over the years of working with different people, how we communicate together that way. The great thing about drawing is you can do it at home. I always encourage everyone that says to me, I can't draw, I always think, actually you can. And because in a sense, it's the most important thing to find your own voice and style. So my whole approach is very simple. Sometimes I'll draw on napkins with my sister or just paper laying around. But when I want to do kind of a finished drawing, usually I use this paper. The only thing that's hard for me about it is you kind of have to cut it out, but we pre-did that because it's easier. And I love to use pens. These are the pens that I normally use. I use kind of a fine line black pen. I think when I'm really seriously working on a sketch, often I'll start in pencil and then pen it. I think today, because it's just more whatever I imagine, whatever the outfit's going to be, I'll just actually go straight to pen just because it's more free. And I love markers. A lot of times I use colored pencil. I really actually love the colored pencil that you can turn into watercolor. That's kind of my favorite. But I think today we're going to use markers just because working from home, I kind of tend to want materials that just get the job done, and a more straightforward way to marker feels that way to me. And I guess we're going to start. Okay. So I have no plan for this drawing. We're going to make it up together. My sister's filming this, so she'll probably, I don't know if she'll input any color she wants to use, but I'm going to, like I said, go straight to pen and just do a figure that I would tend to do. So I start by always drawing the little face in, and then earrings, and then, I'm going to, right now I already have an idea for what I want to do. Just gonna have a little dress in this. So you have little flowers. And I think she's gonna have little polka dots on her dress. Trim. So when I free draw like this, it's just anything that comes to my mind. I tend not to overthink it. And then I just do what I'm gonna do and go with it from there. And then I think she'll have two little straps. So that's my starting point. And then I think, all right, so I'm gonna put this little tulip skirt kind of under it. I feel like whatever, I've been around a lot of flowers. We're in Pasadena and there's lots of roses and irises. So I kind of feel like the shapes or the silhouettes that I'm interested in are very, more about volume and just the things that I'm seeing around me. So this is where I'm gonna go with this to start. And now I'm just gonna be organic about it. I always put a cheek. I always do a little cheek. That's just something I've always done. I don't really have any reason for it. I'm gonna put a little gold here, gold on the earrings. And let's see. So I feel like I want to do pink. I'm not surprised by this. Laura always says to me, if I could put pink in every collection we do, I would. So sometimes we have limitations on how much pink we can use because I love it so much. So I don't really overthink it. I'm, I think the really great thing about the freedom of sketching and drawing is just to have fun with it. I feel like whenever I overthink the drawings, I like them less. It's interesting because we both came up as designers in a time period where it was probably way less computer based. So I never really have done any sketching on a computer. Although I think it's really amazing all the incredible things that you can do. And I oftentimes say to myself, oh, I'd love to learn more about that. But it is something that I didn't necessarily learn early on. So I feel like what's happening now is the last few times we've been on our social distance walks, we've seen these really pretty pink roses. And this is definitely, I feel like, the color of what I've been seeing. Okay. I think we'll do a little, I like this being more fun. I think she's gonna have little fuchsia shoes. And then I'm gonna do her flowers. For some reason, all my drawings, oftentimes they're holding flowers. Well, and that's not that surprising. We also use a lot of flowers on our runway, so. And that's really is, this is really the process for me. A lot of times, like, I would go from here and then make it more detailed. You could spend, hours on a drawing. And when we're doing, custom sketches for the red carpet, those can be very, very in-depth because you want to communicate every detail. But my drawings that are more free, those tend to be more reflective of, I think, the more of the feeling of what I want a collection to be, or the sensibility. It's more about transmitting a feeling. At the end, I always just sign it Rodarte, and that's a sketch.